The US is sending thousands more troops to Saudi Arabia. You'll remember it already sent hundreds over the summer as tension with Iran and elsewhere in the region increased. Now the Pentagon has confirmed a deployment of 3,000 troops.
Well, Kamal, I'm just getting through this statement just as you and our viewers are, and we should run through some of the material that's going along with the 3,000 U.S. troops to Saudi Arabia. They are deploying 2 fighter jet squadrons, 1 air expeditionary wing, 2 Patriot anti-missile defense systems, as well as 1 THAAD missile defense system. That's the that's the one that deals with missiles coming in from a higher altitude. And most recently, we saw the deployment of 3 such THAAD air missile defense systems to South Korea to respond to any potential threat from North Korea.
The Pentagon has confirmed US troops in Syria have come under attack from the Turkish military. It's the first time a coalition base has been in the line of fire since Turkey began its offensive earlier this week. The Pentagon says the artillery explosion came within a few hundred metres of an area where US troops are positioned. No troops were injured, but the Pentagon warned Turkey must avoid actions that could result in immediate defensive action by the US. Turkey insists the US was not the target of the attack. It comes as US lawmakers introduce legislation calling for sanctions on Turkey amid condemnation from both Democrats and President Donald Trump's fellow Republicans over his Syria policy.
Where 2 missiles struck an Iranian tanker traveling through the Red Sea off the coast of Saudi Arabia. There are images there of that tanker identified as Sibiti, reportedly carrying 1 million barrels of crude oil at the time. Iranian state television said the explosion damaged 2 storerooms aboard that oil tanker and caused an oil leak, which was eventually stopped. This latest incident in the region amid months of heightened tensions between Tehran and the U.S. As of now, there is no word if the missiles originated from Saudi Arabia. And moments after that oil tanker attack, oil prices spiked. This is usually the case anytime there is any crisis in this already tense region.
The view is better than a window seat, but don't expect meal service atop this British Airways flight at London City Airport.
I'm on top of a plane. There it is.
James Brown was protesting the lack of action on climate change. A fellow protester was shooting the stunt.
He's so brave.
Brown wasn't acting so brave.
I hate heights and myself, but I can't believe I managed to get on the roof and it's windy.
He managed to board when the plane was still empty because he has a disability.
James, being partially sighted, was the first one to be taken on board.
He climbed up, sat for a while, live streamed his motivation.
This is for my kids. This is for everybody's kids. Oh God, this is too scary.
He ended up lying face down. Not surprisingly, there were Tom Cruise comparisons.
Open the door! Oh my God!
Unlike Tom, James Brown never made it to cruising altitude.
Oh good, the security coming. I hope they don't take too long, because this is scary.
The authorities have ordered hundreds of thousands of people in eastern and central Japan to evacuate their homes immediately as Typhoon Hagibis lashes the country. 1 man's reported to have been killed. Thousands of homes are without power and all flights and train services from the capital have been cancelled. Our correspondent Rupert Wingfield-Hayes sent this update from Tokyo.
This behind me is Shibuya Station in the middle of Tokyo, and normally on a Saturday afternoon this place would be jammed with tourists, jammed with shoppers. This here is the famous Hachiko Scramble Crossing, one of the most famous sites in Tokyo, and normally on a Saturday afternoon there would be thousands of people going across here. Now it is pretty much completely deserted, and that goes for the whole of Tokyo, the greater Tokyo area. Everything has pretty much been shut down ahead of this storm. All of the railways, the whole of the metro system Both of Tokyo's airports are now closed down, as is the famous bullet train.
At the Moria camp on the Greek island of Lesvos, NGO workers are overwhelmed. Those who live at the overcrowded camp say conditions are terrible, and these doctors are seeing the toll it's taking. The EU has allocated nearly $2 billion to Greece to subsidize refugee welfare, but Athens is refusing to improve conditions, fearing it will encourage more migrants to arrive. The majority of the medical staff here are European. They say much of the EU's funds allocated for refugees are going to strengthen security rather than for services. The camp is now at 4 times its capacity, with most people living outside its fences. And inside, it seems just as crowded.
The search for a woman who police say abducted a 3-year-old girl. While the girl is safe this morning, that's really only part of the story. And ABC's Diane Macedo is right here with more. Diane, good morning to you.
Dan, good morning. So that little girl was in a playground with her siblings when police say she was kidnapped.
This morning, an all-out search for a suspected kidnapper in North Carolina. Police have released surveillance images of a woman they identify as 22-year-old Indonesia Monique Lancaster. They say Lancaster abducted 3-year-old Alora Lindement Wednesday from this playground in her family's apartment complex. Thankfully, Alora was found safe on Thursday wandering outside this Greensboro church. This morning, 2 clergy members are describing the moment they spotted her.
We were like, oh my God, that's her.
The 2 women started asking Alora questions.
We showed her a picture and we said, is your name Alora? She says, yes, my name's Alora.
Then they called 911.
Trump pulling no punches when he took aim at the Democrats overnight, as he also reported progress in ending the China trade war.
Good morning. The president is holding his head high, playing to the base with a growing list of grievances. At a rally in Lake Charles, Louisiana, he trumpeted a tentative trade deal with China and also lashed out at the impeachment inquiry. For the second night in a row, President Trump sought to escape the dizzying developments back home to trot out on the campaign trail, where he denounced what he called
the unholy alliance of corrupt Democrat politicians, deep state bureaucrats, and the fake news media. There they are right there.
The president also had good news to share.
I just made a great China deal today,
claiming significant progress in trade talks with the vice premier of China. The man, the moment. He's done it all and won it all. Olympic champion, marathon world record holder, but becoming the first person to run the distance in under 2 hours has eluded Eliud Kipchoge until now. The official marathon distance of 42.2 kilometres has a 100-year history. Kipchoge was aiming to do what many had thought impossible. The flat course was designed to assist a fast time. Vienna in autumn specifically chosen for optimal conditions. And Kipchoge was aided by a team of 41 pacemakers. Laser technology helped guide the runners to maintain the record-breaking pace. As the clock reached 1:59, the crowds watched on as one of the great barriers of distance running was taken apart, and Kipchoge's already legendary status reached even greater heights.
Well, Jane Fonda stressed to us moments ago, this is not going to be just a one-time thing. She plans to protest on the steps in front of the U.S. House of Representatives every Friday from now until into 2020 and be arrested on those steps each and every time in order to draw attention to climate change. The last time she told us a few minutes ago that she was protesting here in Washington was during the Iraq War, and we just wrapped up a wide-ranging interview with her on this subject of what she hopes to accomplish. Take a listen to what she told us.
How many people do you think are going to be here this morning?
Well, we're not going for big numbers. We're just going for...
Make a stand.
We're taking a stand every Friday at 11 o'clock, and every Thursday before we're having a digital teach-in.
All right, so back here, what exactly is she hoping to do? We'll take you through her plan of action right here. She's going to be giving a speech again in front of the U.S. House of Representatives, and it's illegal to ascend those steps without a permit. They're only reserved for House members and their staffers.